going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1129 of FloWrestling Radio, live from Austin, Texas. I'm your host, Christian Piles. Very, very special show today. To my right, that's JD Raider. He's here. To the left, in a limited edition Raney Bros t-shirt. You can't just get that in the stores, folks. You got to know somebody that knows somebody that knows the Raineys. And to the left, a triumphant return from Japan. Mm-hmm. He's back. We didn't know. It was theorized.
We call it Nihon.
Nihon?
Yeah, that's the Japanese word for Japan.
Oh, wow. I'm learning more every day. But enough talking to Tyler already. We have two very, very special guests joining us to make a special announcement. Jordan and Jaden Raney joining the show. Want to start off first, Jaden. You made the senior world team at Greco-Roman. You just wrestled at the Pan Am Championships. What has that experience been like, you know, a high schooler making the senior world team? And what made you decide, hey, I want to go for it. I want to go for seniors, and I want to do it this year?
Well, I've been talking a lot to my coaches and stuff, and they thought I was ready for it. And deep down inside, I knew I was ready for it. I've been competing a lot in Greco, and I wrestle a lot of Greco, so I knew I was ready for it. And after talked to my coaches, and they're like, hey, I don't think you need to wait anymore. Let's go and try to do it. So whenever they told me that, I was like, all right, I think I'm ready for it. And I went and I did it.
Awesome. Yeah, you did it indeed. And now, Jordan, what are the plans for you for competition throughout the summer?
So my first tournament back will hopefully be Fargo. So
awesome. Awesome. Are you doing both styles or just freestyle?
Both styles.
There you go. All right. Awesome. Now, you guys are obviously on here to announce your commitment, the college you're going to be wrestling at. But before we get into that, how was the recruiting process? What all went into the decision? And what was special about the timing of making the announcement right now for you guys? Some guys make their announcement a little bit earlier, some later. Why was this timing important for you guys?
This whole process has been really fun. Ever since the first day we were able to get calls, there's been ups and downs. It's been a long process, but yeah, I think we're ready to go. And I think the timing now is good for us because a lot of the guys have already committed, so we're really the last two, and we're committing now. It's like before all the, what would it be, juniors, they're able to get calls next year. So I think right now is the perfect time for us to give our commitment.
Awesome. Now, I guess what were some of the things that maybe surprised you about the recruiting process?
It was a lot. It was very overwhelming. It was calls every day, but towards the end, we kind of narrowed it down and we were like, okay, this is where we want to go. And it made it pretty easy. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, I know a lot of fans, I can't wait to ask you after the decision is ultimately out there, but a lot of fans can't wait to know. I understand you guys have sent on a video you want to play. Are you cool with us playing that right now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, here we go. We're going to play this video, and then we're going to check back in with the Raney Brothers.
It's not playing for us.
So wait, stop the video. Stop the video. Stop the video.
Time out.
I don't know what's happening. Something's happening.
Stop.
All right, wait.
Pause it. Time. The video, it's not playing on our side. It's not playing on our side.
Oh, it's not playing on your side. Okay, I thought maybe the contents of the video you didn't want seen, and I was really nervous. All right, so what do we do?
No, here we go. I don't know. I think.
Oh, we're replaying it. We're replaying
yes,
it. We get to start it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rainies, they were freaking out on the video. I was like, oh no, is there something wrong with this video? All right, we're going to show the video again. All right, here we go.
Pleasures of a live show.
All right, hey, we're doing it live. We're going to do it full screen. It's fine ever. I think. There we go. Oh my goodness. The Raney Brothers headed to Oklahoma State. Kid Rock making the official announcement. Very fitting. Fellas, first off, congrats. What was it about Oklahoma State? What set them apart? Obviously, you garnered attention from all the top schools in the country. What was it about Oklahoma State?
We just feel like we've known David for a while now. We've wrestled on his dual teams. He's a super nice guy, and we've just been talking like to their entire team, and we feel like we got good connections with them. And obviously, they've performed really well recently, and just overall, we've always liked Oklahoma State. And as soon as they called us, we kind of felt like right off that first phone call that they were going to be a top contender the entire time, and that's where we wanted to go.
You know, there's a lot of different categories that people look for when they're making a decision. It's, you know, fit for weight class, like how do I fit on this team, training partners, you know, tradition, NIL. How did you guys, you know, kind of arrange or order those factors in your mind?
So we actually sent a text to Jax Forrest just thinking like what's going to work out for us. So we talked to him a little bit. We think it's going to be perfect. We're going to come in there. We're going to fit right in, and we're going to have a pretty good team.
I don't disagree. Where do you guys see yourselves fitting weight-wise?
I think I'm going to go 33, and my brother's going to go 49.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. So that's exciting.
He's gotten pretty big.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Coach Taylor's made some waves with the RTC. With your guys' senior level aspirations, how important was RTC for you guys?
It was pretty important. They have a really good RTC right now. They're basically winning everything, and they're gonna start doing Greco. So it was like a win for us. So we're like perfect.
It's a pretty new landscape or aspect of wrestling recruiting, the NIL space. Was that a more difficult part for you? How much of that weighed in your guys' decision?
So obviously that plays a role into making our decision, but we felt like that was like the bottom of the list. We looked for other things in all these schools first, and then we would put that into play, and it helped making our decision, but it also, I don't know, it definitely wasn't the biggest part into making this decision.
Was there a period of time where you felt like, hey, I think we're going to be going to this school, and where your minds actually changed from one school to another?
Yeah, actually that did happen. About a month ago, we were pretty set on a different school. We were like, okay, I think we could go to this school. And then just something switched in both of our heads, and we were just like, we want to go to Oklahoma State now. And that's where we've been for the past month, and we were ready. We were ready to commit.
Awesome. David, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I remember talking to you guys at the very beginning of the recruiting process, and you said, you know, from the beginning, this is going to be a team decision, something you guys were going to make together, and that, you know, you guys might have different opinions throughout the process, but you're going to have to kind of be on the same page. Were there times throughout the process where maybe one of you guys was leaning one way and one was leaning the other, and if so, what was that like navigating those conversations?
To be honest, I don't know if that ever really happened. We went on all these visits, and after all the visits, we came home and we talked about it. And I feel like we had like the same thoughts. Like we never really one time one of us was leaning more towards a different school.
That's it. Yeah, that's cool. Very cool that you guys were aligned. You mentioned that the timing, one of the reasons the timing fits so well for you guys right now is that you guys are kind of the last two big pieces left in the class. How did the maybe recruiting conversations change or ramp up around, you know, February after like Bo and Jax and some of the other big guys around your weight range committed? What did the conversations change or ramp up at all?
Yeah. So the schools that didn't get those two, they started like going at us a lot more. They were like, y'all are the pieces to our puzzle. And we were like, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Nice, man. Well, excited to follow you guys moving forward. We got World Team Trials this weekend. Do you guys have any predictions or thoughts about how the Cowboys are going to do over there?
I think they're going to do great. They already have a lot sitting to final leg, so I don't know who all is going to be wrestling there at Louisville, but I know final X. I know they'll be ready for that, so pretty pumped to watch that one.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, fellas, do you have anything else you want to mention, thank, etc. before we let you get back to your day? I don't even know if the Raney Brothers, do they have to go to school at this point? Maybe not. I don't know what you have to do. Maybe just train more. But anything else you'd like to add before we let you get back to your day?
Yeah, we just want to start off by thanking our parents. You know, they've done a lot for us ever since we started wrestling. We made this decision to start wrestling. They've been taking us everywhere. They've got us training that we needed to, exceed in this sport, and just a big shout out to them.
I also want to thank our coaching staff. They've been with us every step of the way. They've really helped us a lot in this journey, and we've talked to them a lot, and they've supported us every step of the way, and it's just been awesome to have those guys supporting us.
Awesome.
And we also want to thank Brian Medlin. He's our RTC coach, and this decision was really hard, and he was just out in Pan Am's with me. He's in my corner, and obviously he coaches at Illinois, and we know this is going to sting a little bit, but I just want to give a lot of credit to him. He's helped us a lot over the past 4 or 5 years coaching us, and Greco freestyle. He's been in our corners. He's helped us cut weight, and he's done a lot for us. And yeah, I just want to thank him.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan, Jaden, really appreciate you guys coming on. Jaden, best of luck at the World Championships. I'm sure we'll be seeing you before then. And Jordan, looking forward to watching you wrestling at Fargo. Thanks again. Congrats on the decision, and we'll see you soon.
No, thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you. All right, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan and Jaden Raney headed to Oklahoma State University. Bray, initial thoughts?
I mean, initial thought is how interesting that people were convinced. Some people convinced they're going to Iowa. Other people convinced, they're going to Oklahoma State. And it was really up until this moment that, that we knew for sure. Oklahoma State is a powerhouse program more and more every time they get commitments like this. And I think one of the first thoughts people are going to have is how does all this talent fit into the lineup?
Yeah.
And that's the same conversation people have been having about Penn State for a long time. So that's probably a good indicator that they're headed in the right direction.
Well, also it sounds like 33-49, which means Jack's Forest 41.
Yeah. And who
is their plan?
Right, and you never know how Jax is. Is Jax going to grow? How is Jordan? There's nothing set in stone. Maybe Jordan ends up 41, Jax goes 49. All these things can be worked out. But just the fact, I feel like that they're getting out ahead of it and getting on the same page, I think is a key first step. And sometimes those conversations, I don't know if they're always. Maybe that's what every team does, but it seems strategic, smart, like the way to go to get everyone on the same page here, how it's going to work out.
Obviously, you also have Sergio Vega, in that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
You have other guys, but it's like you've seen Penn State over the years. They figure it out, they make it work, and I think that's seems like probably what they're looking to do here at Oklahoma State. It's going to be a salty room, incredibly deep, and they'll have options. I mean, you think about. Jaden, he's already on a senior Greco world team, so maybe that Olympic, redshirt year is something they're thinking about. They still have one more year of high school too.
Yeah,
there are a lot of, puzzle pieces they're gonna have to put together, but this is an absolutely massive, massive win for Oklahoma State, and I think the Raney Brothers, they know what they want, and this is a big win for them too because they know what type of environment they want to train in, and they know where they want to compete, and they're going to go make it happen. And they're not so worried about what's the exact way that this fits and what years and whatever. They're just going to go, they're going to go figure it out.
Kicks up the Oklahoma State Penn State rivalry, even heating up a notch. The kind of off-season wars, and that's where my mind goes to. Wow, okay, can Oklahoma State take out Penn State in 5 years, right? With a team with the recruiting classes they're getting.
Well, they're obviously not on a 5-year timeline. They're on next year, probably not. And the year after that, it's going to be the conversation, right? Because you've got, you're going to have Spratley, I think will still be there. Figs, you have the twins, you have Jax, you have Sergio, along with, Robidou, D. Lockett, Merrill's there, Zach Ryder, Drayshawn will be in that. It's an insane collection of talent, and we haven't talked about a group of talent like this outside of Penn State the last couple of years. And I did a video about this, but it is insane everything that he's been there exactly a year, right? And all the things that have transpired on the recruiting front, and then the on the mat success, which is something that the brothers pointed out. Like, they've been having a lot of success. People see that. People see what they did at NCAAs, and see what they're doing at the U.S. Open, and people want to be a part of it.
I mean, you think about like the year David Taylor has had, and there hasn't been a month that goes by without Oklahoma State having a really big win, over the last year. It's like April, it's the U.S. Open. They've got all these senior level champs. And now, I mean, this is a huge recruiting win in May, and they got the World Team Trials this weekend. Like, this could be another massive month, and then they got Final X, and then it's just on and on and on for Oklahoma State.
And it's maybe sort of intuitive, but it's additive to have the Raneys. But for them not to go to, one of their top rivals in Iowa or Ohio State or Nebraska, like, that's such a huge deal too. They don't get there's no other. It's not like, oh, we didn't get the Raneys, so now we'll get who?
Yeah,
like, that's it. There's one set of Raney twins, and now they're going to Oklahoma State, and their talent of that level is rare, and it feels like the potential for those two is really, it's pretty crazy, and they've accomplished so much in high school. But it seems like they haven't had they have a great training situation, but what they're going to be entering into is going to be pretty special as well.
Absolutely. I mean, having a built-in training partner in a twin brother is
fair?
Is that that's a performance
debate.
That's a performance enhancer right there. No, I mean that is a huge advantage, but that area, I mean, they're from a storied program in Kentucky. Don't get it wrong. I mean, the program the Irvins have helped build and that Brooks Black is running at Union County in Kentucky is a legit national level program. But I mean, you think about the type of matches that some guys in Pennsylvania or Iowa or these deep states have throughout their high school career. I mean, that's not the type of matches that the Raneys are wrestling during their high school schedule. Now they're going to go into a room with increased depth, more resources, strength training. That's an element they haven't even started to touch. And I think they have a ton of upside.
What's the chat saying, Tyler?
People are just like talking about how like Oklahoma State's gonna have a crowded room just like Penn State. A lot of people really were certain they were going to go to Iowa, like before they committed. The chat was buzzing about Iowa.
It sounds like that
boy said he would eat his hat if they don't commit to Iowa, so now he has to do that.
He has to eat a hat. They sell edible hats.
Get the salt and pepper out.
It is a tough day for Hawkeye fans, and it sounds like, I assume that was probably the school they were alluding to, that they were feeling like they were going to up until the last minute, and they switched to Oklahoma State, but also because the narrative was when you have Bo Bassett, Michael Mako, and the Raney twins, like, you're looking at the top recruiting class, one of the better recruiting classes in a couple of years going to your school, and now the narrative kind of flips to where it's Oklahoma State with this massive recruiting class coming in 2026.
Because there's two. Yeah,
it's such a swing.
Yeah, it's a huge swing. It does sound like Iowa. And you're right. There's nothing else to say other than it hurts. There's not another set of Raney twins. Anything else on this?
I saw an argument the other day. It was about college football, but I thought it was kind of interesting now, looking at it in the state of college wrestling where it's at now. What program do you think has the most fans out of state? Obviously, 10, 15 years ago, it's Iowa.
I would say Penn State.
Now, do you think it's Penn State?
Probably. It's just I think they're they have so many in like New Jersey. A lot of people go to Penn State from other states just originally, and then they go. It's just a bigger university, so I'd say probably Penn State.
I would say probably Penn State too.
Yeah.
Do you think if Oklahoma State starts doing really well, kind of resurfaces their dynasty to what they were back in the day, that they could ever surpass Penn State despite being a smaller university?
I think maybe. I mean, growing up in Colorado, you kind of saw Oklahoma State had a pretty good fan base in Colorado that kind of owned Kansas, like probably Texas, like some of those surrounding states. Oklahoma State kind of owns those wrestling fan base wise. So yeah, I mean, I think they could.
Man, who doesn't want to see a Raney Brothers, Jax, Vega group of 4?
Oh my gosh.
Practice. I mean, the scrambles, the exchanges. Gonna be better than some of the matches probably.
The pace alone of that group is it's just nuts.
What if Jason Nolf creates the best high school club in the country out of Texas, and they all go to Oklahoma State?
I feel like someone would go to Penn State, and he's gonna be like Jody Stripmatter, where he's gonna, not gonna be.
He's sending them everywhere.
Yeah, they go all over the place.
I think that like for these coaches, these developmental coaches, it's to their benefit to get guys as many places as possible. And I mean, Brooks Black, this is the Raney Brothers coach. He was an Illinois guy, and and I think that's why they had such a strong. That's one of the reasons they had such a strong connection there. Also proximity, but he I don't think he tried to push him one direction or the other. So I mean, why not?
You almost don't want to. It's like y'all figure that out. Because if it doesn't go well, don't want to reflect poorly on them. Okay, should we move on?
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with Tyler.
Okay, get in line, brother.
Me?
Yeah, I'm surprised, you even returned from Japan.
Yeah,
Me too, brother.
I know. Big Japan guy, Tyler. Previous to visiting and post. And I assumed you were fleeing because your university is an absolute shambles
yeah.
What?
right now.
The football coach is once again suspended.
I don't care about that.
President's leaving.
President's leaving. And here's the real problem for Michigan wrestling. Sean Bormet, the new president of the University of Michigan. Rumors are starting to swirl.
Sorry.
But really, here's my real beef to pick with you. You went to Japan for like a week and didn't do the 2 things that would be on my Japan bucket list.
Oh, here we go.
Visiting the Texas theme bar in Tokyo
Oh, that does look fun.
and going to a sumo tournament,
Dude,
which
we
the
looked at
May
doing that.
Grand Sumo tournament is literally going on right now.
Dang.
Yeah, that makes it actually harder to see. Like because normally they do these like dinners where you can sit down and watch the sumo practices and stuff, but they don't do that during the tournament.
I know.
What's
I
more
want to go to the
appetizing?
tournament.
What's more appetizing than sumo?
Sumo. Yeah.
I'm trying to find this Texas themed bar in
I
Tokyo.
can't even get a sentence out.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is in Tokyo. Look at that.
Wow.
You would never guess just by
That,
looking at
that
that
looks
photo.
like 6th Street. Mm-hmm. Wow. Very cool.
So in my book, you didn't even go to Japan.
Yeah, you didn't even
Whatever,
go.
dude. I don't
You
even
didn't even
care.
go. You just got that shirt. He probably went to Scottsdale like Ryan Howard. Or when he said I don't know if he went to Scottsdale.
He said he went to Thailand. Instead, he went to like
Palm
somewhere
Beach or
else.
something.
Yeah.
Fort
bleach his hair.
Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Ryan, I think Michael's like, it sounds amazing. He's like, yeah.
Let me shout out Wayne Johnson, who's a listener of this show.
Okay.
Who was DMing
The Rock?
me a bunch of DMing me a bunch of suggestions.
Wayne the Rock.
The Rock Wayne Johnson.
He said he listens to the show every week with his son, and he DM'd me, sent me a bunch of recommendations.
So cool. The Rock listens to this show.
With his son.
He recommended a knife place in Osaka, and I bought a knife in Tokyo because we really
Got some
needed one.
nigiri action going on.
So
Flex.
I never thought that being on the show would lead me to knife recommendations in Osaka, but here we are.
You never know.
Yep. Thanks, Wayne.
That's great. Wow. Truly a global audience.
Shout out to The Rock.
What kind of knife?
It's just a sick one.
Ginsu.
No,
Is it for like?
It's an all-purpose knife. It's for
stabbing,
like, vegetables,
steaks.
meat, everything. Because we had budget.
Get it signed by Randy Jackson. You're not gonna not get his autograph.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a maybe.
All right. World Team Trials seeds came out yesterday. Some really interesting nuggets. First and foremost for me was No Nick Lee at 65 kilograms. He snapped on us. He was in, and he was out.
Yeah, I don't know the reasoning there, but that's a huge shakeup. He was for sure the favorite, regardless of how long he'd been off the mat. If he enters, he's prepared. Makes that weight even, I think, less predictable. I mean, Marcus Blaze very likely going to take on Jesse Mendez round 1. I think that's going to be a really close match. I don't think that's a blowout. So much familiarity there. And familiarity can make offensive wrestlers have a hard time scoring. Then you take like someone like Marcus, who is just like so positionally sound. I think this is like a 2-2, 2-1, very, very close competitive match, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I don't think there'll be a lot of scoring.
Yeah.
And so there, right there, you could have the 1 seed upset. And Carter Young's no joke in freestyle as a first test for Marcus Blaze. I think the other, before we maybe go weight by weight, the changes or omissions, no Jacob Cardenas either. Mm-hmm. Hayden Zilmer moves down to 97 kilograms. Justin Rademacher enters. Obviously, those 2 moves are directly related to this Kyle Snyder news. And I'm trying to think if anyone else did. I think I mentioned Cardenas not entering.
We should also mention Kyle Snyder temporarily suspended by Safe Sport for the time being.
Yeah.
And that's you mentioned Safe Sport. That's an important detail because Safe Sport, it was a congressional act years ago that put Safe Sport in charge of all of the national governing bodies in terms of athlete safety and all this stuff. So this is not a USA Wrestling decision. Kyle Snyder's his eligibility is not currently in USA Wrestling's hands. It's in the hands of Safe Sport. And so this process is going to play out on Safe Sport's timeline. And what is that timeline? We don't know. That could have, obviously Kyle's going to have to make a decision about what he wants to do personally, but the Safe Sport process is also playing out on a separate timeline and is unrelated and is out of the hands of both Kyle and USA Wrestling. So it makes this 97 kilo World Team Trials weight class really significant because the process of qualifying for this World Team is if you win this World Team Trial spot, you wrestle the winner of the US Open at Final X. That's Kyle Snyder. Whether or not he's going to be at Final X, we don't know. So makes the importance of 97 kilos really significant.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we get a decision before things start this weekend.
I doubt that'll happen.
I know.
That would really surprise me.
Yeah, just with how the process of Safe Sport and this not being up to USA Wrestling. Obviously, USA Wrestling would love to have a decision as soon as they could because a huge wrinkle gets thrown into things if you start your World Team Trials as is and then you don't have a Final X opponent.
Snyder's, his court appearance is not till next week. So, it'd be May 19th. It'd be really hard for there to be a decision now, I think. So,
and what if this is weird. Could he get it delayed?
Yeah. Who knows?
I think in the rules it says only injury.
Yeah.
Now, would this be a special circumstance where maybe they would? I don't know. If Safe Sport is literally holding things in limbo, that would be a decision for USA Wrestling. But if it's a scenario where they only wrestle one match at World Team Trials and then they say Kyle can't wrestle and then, okay, so the guy who won the World Team Trials is your World Teamer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could be looking at legal action from the guy who lost in the finals, being like, I didn't get my opportunity to wrestle 2 out of 3 like everybody else. So then do you wrestle a full another 3-match series or do you do a 2-match series?
Like Zaniani started 1-0 after the court thing.
Right. So it just creates a very tricky situation.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why it's so important that USA Wrestling has a published process, and if, they have a process and this is not like, this is a situation that doesn't necessarily change anything about the process, right? We saw a couple years ago, we saw a couple years ago, Jaden Cox, was unable to wrestle at Final X. And so it's not like they took the next guy up or changed. It's like, no, he didn't wrestle.
That's it.
That's it. So, anyway, more to come. We'll continue to cover that story, but that's what we know.
Cool.
Back to World Team Trials.
Back to the trials, which I guess at the top we should mention. It's not the top of anything, but goes down tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. Finals are going to be Saturday afternoon. Like, we'll be done by 3 o'clock Eastern. So I think finals start at women's freestyle are at noon and men's are at 1:30, around that, maybe a little before. But yeah, make sure you're tuning in and watch every match live on FloWrestling. I will be there, as will Tyler, Spay, and Kozak, and hopefully you. And if not, hopefully you'll be watching live online. Going to be really exciting.
Don't go. Only watch on Flow.
No, go. Anyways, back to 65.
Anyways, back to my knife.
Oh, snap.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cutting.
Very lack
stuff.
of signature on it.
It looks kind of worn.
That's part of the design, dude.
Okay, now that it's a little closer, listen.
This is very on brand for you being a Japan guy, getting really into blades.
Oh yeah.
Next thing you know, you're going to have swords.
Apparently there was like an era where sword making was banned, so all the swordsmiths turned to knife making. That's why knives are so great in Japan. So
Honestly-
that's versatility.
And honestly, making a knife seems like a lot more lucrative, right?
yeah,
Because
right.
how many people need swords?
Well, I mean, back in the day, probably a lot.
And how many swords do you need? You got one good sword. That's it.
One sword.
You need some knives.
You need a lot of knives in the rotation.
All right, sorry. Now we can go back to World Team Trial.
All right.
Had to show that to you.
I'm glad you showed me.
You know, we already
knife.
talked about this potential quarterfinal with Jesse Mendez and Marcus Blaze, but what about this bow down? Bo Bassett, Bo
Bow down, throw down?
Yeah, bow down at quarterfinals. Bo Bassett,
I know.
Bo Bartlett.
How long have you been sitting on that one?
Pretty much this whole time.
It's been in the holster.
As soon as the pre-seeds drop,
Enough knife talk, bow talk.
Bow
As soon as
down.
I saw the pre-seeds, I was like, hey JD, I got to be on the show.
He's like, I just got a zinger. It's just too good. Yeah, someone said this is will determine like how you actually spell bow.
I like that. I do like that.
No, I mean I think this is a really tough match for Bassett. I think the positioning and the defense of Bo Bartlett, that's a unique challenge. I'm trying to think of someone that Bo's wrestled like that. That's that hard to get to and score on. If he beats Bo Bartlett, I think all bets are off for 65 and Bo Bassett. I will say that.
You know who else is like pretty good positionally is Kaladzik, right? I mean, it's some similarities
Yeah.
in terms of just the ham fight, the physicality, and you know, and that was tough for Bassett.
Yes, it was. I mean, Aiden Valencia versus Real Woods yet again. You know, it's 2-0 for Aiden, but like, you almost feel like you want to pick Real in this. Like, is he really going to beat him 3 times like that? Doesn't seem likely.
It's hard to beat a guy 3 times.
That's right.
You would think, you know, that in the years that Real Woods was at Stanford, that they probably
They've trained together a ton.
Yeah.
Like extensively. So after they wrestled the second time, I'm walking by and they're just like hugging it out and talking about. And then I talked to Aiden's father. He's like, oh yeah, they trained together a ton back in the day. So there's tons of a lot of love there, but a lot of familiarity.
A lot of familiarity as a whole in the 65 kilogram bracket.
Truly. And brother Brock Hardy gets the 2 seed. That surprised me. It's probably the 1 seed that stood out. But in a field this crazy, I mean, Bo Bassett's the 3. He's wrestled in like I think 1 senior tournament.
79 stood out a little bit too. You and Kozak got into it big time, real heated on
The
Twitter.
heat here is insane between Kozak and I. No, I mean, I thought it's sort of obvious what they did. Evan lost to Levi and beat DJ Hamady, so they went with Levi.
Levi got the 1 seed. Obviously, Hamady beat Levi in the NCAA semifinals. Do you think it should be Levi the 1?
I would have been fine with either. But for me, I think you really should skew more heavily towards freestyle results. And for that reason, I think Levi at the 1 makes a lot of sense. Then again, it's like, what is the benefit for Levi if he has Carson in that semi? Carson is he gave him a really tough match at Ohio State where it looked like, is Carson about to beat Levi Haynes? And then one errant shot and Levi runs around and wins the match, but Carson is probably best suited for freestyle. So I think that's a tough semi for him, should he get by Muhammad McBride. And then for Hamady versus versus Simon Ruiz. That's an interesting one. But Kennedy Monday, Simon Ruiz is gonna be fun too.
know. Simon looked really good at the U.S. Open. Beat Carson twice, I think. They're
Two
both
twice.
Hartsha
Oh yeah.
on the front and back side, I believe. Maybe it was just.
No, I think you're
once,
right.
but I think it was twice.
Kennedy Monday looked pretty good over there too at the Open, and he is a highlight factory. Like, did you see that whizzer kick he had? I can't remember. Was it McBride in the McBride match?
I think it was.
Dude, that whizzer kick stuff, like just his upper body potential is really fun. I'd be glued to that first round match with him and Ruiz. I just think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. We're looking at the seeds here. These are the entries. This is the sum of the field. This is everyone, right? There's no like guys getting drawn in. So this is a 7-man field, 8-man bracket. So it starts in the quarters. So it's only a few matches, but it's all extremely high level.
Yeah, it's awesome. You don't have to wait around. You're right away, boom, into it.
How do we want to talk? Is there anything else we want to mention about 65 or predictions or anything like that?
I'm curious. Well, the one first round match we didn't really talk about at 65 was Seth Gross and Brock Hardy, and you think Hardy's got that size advantage, but the first time anybody wrestles Gross, I feel like is the trickiest.
Yes.
What do you think? I mean, I don't know. I feel like Hardy's big, but I kind of like Gross there.
I don't disagree. I think for Seth, if you could like hand pick a first match, I think Brock is a decent one because he's going to mix it up with you. Brock Hardy is an attacking guy. He's going to take a lot of attacks. He's going to fire. He's going to engage. And Seth is a guy that really only needs to come out on top of one of those before he can transition and make things crazy. So I don't disagree that Seth could beat Brock Hardy and maybe is the favorite. I mean, guy's a world teamer. He's beaten a lot of good guys. He's had some success up at 65. I really just feel like it's not the weight for him. Obviously, he's 61. That's what makes me kind of throttle my expectations for Seth coming into this tournament. I just think he's just not quite the right size.
You're slowing your expectations for Seth, but not Marcus because you think Marcus's style translates better moving up?
A little better, and even for Marcus, I could see him beating Jesse Mendez, but is he going to be able to run a gauntlet, a mini gauntlet, but a gauntlet all the same where he beats, Jesse Mendez and then Aiden or Real Woods, and then who knows who comes out of that bottom half. Brock Hardy, Bo Bassett, Bo Bartlett, Seth Gross. That could go a lot of different directions.
I would probably lean Bartlett.
Me too.
Just based off of freestyle success in the past 2 years.
And he's opposite of Real Woods, who I think is I think that's a bad matchup for Bo Bartlett, but he may not have.
Obviously from the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Real beat him.
Yes.
Avery Gaming has a proposal for you, CP.
Okay.
Let's make a deal, CP. If Bo beats Bo, I get you a Jersey Mike's gift card.
Well, I'll pretend I didn't read it and just heard it. Therefore, I agree. If Bo beats Bo, I get a Jersey Mike's gift card.
Well, this is really no risk to you. Like, you don't have to buy him. He never said you had to buy him a Jersey Mike's.
It's just sandwiches for me. Mm-hmm. If there's enough on the card,
I think you should accept the deal. Deal or no deal?
I guess yes, you drive a hard bargain, Avery, but I will accept this deal.
I do want to thank you, Tyler, for reading that in all caps as it was written.
Yes.
I had to.
Yeah, Avery is a big all caps. He's a caps lock guy. Mm-hmm. He broke that button off. Mm-hmm. So that's just part of his style. Mm-hmm. Even though his name is not like that.
All right.
All right. That was good. This is an important conversation.
I think this tournament, maybe the wrestler I am most excited to watch, and I'm not saying they're going to win, but just intrigue off the beaten path is kind of Ridge Lovett.
Yeah.
Or maybe Antrell Taylor, one of those Huskers at 70 kilograms, just because of the way this 70 kilogram bracket is. And can they knock off a guy or two and make a little bit of a run? They're not my prediction to win, but just because of we haven't seen them a whole lot in freestyle in the past couple of years. I just want to see where they're at. And for Ridge, what does this mean for him going forward on the senior level?
Yeah, I wonder size-wise, is this the right weight for Ridge? That could have went way worse. Is he a full-size 70? Maybe not yet, but is he big enough is my question. If he's big enough, I really think he could be dangerous here. I think a month and a half after NCAAs, is he up, the guys at 70 kilograms probably get up to, 65, 70 pounds, 170 pounds. Is he there? I don't know, but his really good upper body, great parterre. I think he's going to be dangerous for sure. I'm excited to see him as well.
It's funny because, like, before he got into college, I think the only real question about whether or not he was going to translate at the next level was like, all right, we know he's good at freestyle and Greco. Is he able to make that happen to the same degree in folk style? And now it's all coming full circle. It's like back to those international styles where he made a name for himself initially. And I think it's one of those things where it's like we've known forever. We've known since he was 15, 16, this dude can do it on the international styles, and now here he gets to go full time in freestyle.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch Ridge Lovett. I don't know if you want to pull up 70, Tyler.
70 is probably the weight I'm most interested in.
Do you feel like it's James and PJ and everyone else?
Yes, in terms of just where I feel the safest about my money. But if you're going, hey, James or PJ or the field making a pick, I feel like that's almost kind of a 60-40.
Oh, really? I would be.
It's just that field is so deep, and I feel like there's not a whole lot of separation.
No, I feel I would be really surprised if one of those two don't win. I would put that at like 80%.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I was being generous.
James Green being a large percentage of that.
Yes.
But yeah, I just think he is just, I mean, he lost to Yanni, okay, but what this guy has been able to do at 70 year after year, it's so hard to pick against him. And then you saw what PJ had been able to do to a lot of the wrestlers in this field already.
I am probably putting too much weight on the Will Luan loss from the ranking series a couple months ago that James took. I just start to wonder
That's
if
fair.
a Will Luan loss that I feel like he would not have taken 4 years ago in his career, then a loss to Yanni, which maybe he would have taken earlier in his career, but I feel like maybe not. I don't know.
He has taken.
Yeah. Is this just kind of the start of finally
Him aging?
Yes, which we have not seen up until this point when he's at 70 kilograms.
I compared the Green Luan match to Jordan Burroughs' Nick Marable.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, he won, but I didn't take much from it. But yeah, that's kind of my read on it. But he will at some point get old.
right.
Don't know when.
And the other side of that equation of the potential James Green, PJ Duke final, I love the path that PJ Duke has in terms of being a fan and getting to see some really interesting wrestling, because a first round matchup with PJ Duke and the best version of Antrell Taylor that we've seen, I think is really fun. I think that's one that we're going to learn a lot about both guys in the match and favor PJ there, but Antrell's never looked better than he did at NCAAs.
That's wild to say. Favor PJ there against this year's NCAA champ.
I think it's wild to say, but I think it's true. I mean, I really, I think that is true. And then if you get Ridge Lovett after that, that's another super fun style matchup.
Here's
And
another NCAA champ for you.
another NCAA champ and another just really tough stylistic.
What if
wrestler.
PJ beats Antrell Taylor, Ridge Lovett, and James Green? Does he own the state of Nebraska?
Dang.
Wow,
Could be technically his.
man.
How would that
Outside
change
of
your
Buffalo
pound for
County,
pound
of course.
rankings? He does
You
that.
guys think PJ's ready to beat James Green?
I'm not taking it off the table. James would be my pick, but so I'm saying there's a chance.
I just don't see it. He's a horse, man, PJ. I just don't see him horsing James Green.
Right. James is too old, too strong, too savvy.
Too fast, too motivated.
Yeah.
Too energized. And he qualified.
I don't know how much better. Like, I'm excited to watch PJ wrestle at this tournament because it's hard to gauge how much better he's gotten since last year against like a junior field, So I feel like this will be where we kind of find out, because that's the unknown with these young guys is like, oh, well, this happened last year, but they could be a whole different guy this year. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see at the senior level if he is a different guy.
I mean, he was right there on the senior level last year, and you got to think only another year for a guy of his age is going to help him. I don't think he's ready to bully James Green yet at this weight, and he might even slip up before. Now, I think he is right there with the Antrell Taylor, Ridge Lovitz. But can he navigate that field and then take out James Green? I don't think so yet.
Cool. Yeah, we'll see.
Do you think it was... How do you think Hayden Zillmer will do down at 97? Obviously, I think we all probably agree it's probably a smart decision.
Super smart. I think he's going to win. He'd be my pick. I think Rademacher's interesting. Aiello is definitely slept on, but I think he's just such a good freestyle wrestler. Great gut wrench, really good just positionally. He's right size for this because he was doing this at heavyweight. I think he's a strong favorite.
I feel like he'd probably be the favorite over Aiello too at Final X.
Yeah, if he
wins. Yeah, which...
Well,
I don't think that's how it's going to go.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, we still have to wait and see about all that stuff. But, I mean, shoot. 8 years ago, who would have predicted Hayden Zillmer, 2-time world team member?
I know.
If it happens.
Yeah. Changing weights.
Yeah.
How many wrestlers make world teams at 2 different weight classes? Like Jordan, Dake, Taylor. David did last year.
It's a testament to just putting in your time and kind of finding the right path to a world team, right? Obviously, Hayden could have gone 97 kilograms probably before, but chose to go up because he thought a better path. Now this opportunity opens up, and it goes to show you hang around long enough, you keep putting in the work, putting in the time, and good things can happen.
Nice guy, too.
Yeah. He's a savage, though.
Jack Pine.
That's right.
The Jack Pine variety. Do we want to go to 74? We hit on 70.
74 to me isn't quite as exciting just because David Carr is such a favorite, I think.
There's a lot of excitement around Quincy Monday. I think we did not see that match at the Open. I thought going into the Open, if there was something going to spoil the Messenbrink Carr matchup, it would be Quincy Monday against David Carr. And I think that's the match we're going to see in the final. I'm excited to watch Caliendo, but we've seen him wrestle David Carr, and that would be the semifinal match should he get by Bear Claw, and I just don't see that going Caliendo's way. And I think, one thing for Monday, he's got to beat Jake Hughes. Jake Hughes, I believe, has beaten him, but he's beaten Jake Hughes as well. But I think it's going to be a Carr Monday legacy match. Right, and they had a close NCAA match in 23, where I think Quincy got out to a big lead, and then something weird happened in that match. There was a weird choice or something happened. Anyway, I think it's going to be closer than people would expect. So have that on your radar. I would not overlook that final.
This feels like a weight where the guys that are in this field, like a year or two from now, are going to be a lot closer to the top competitors, but right now just a lot of them are a little unseasoned in freestyle, and it's one of those where it's like beginning of a quad. By the end of the quad, this field might tighten up, but maybe not yet.
True. In 79, we talked about a little bit already those matchups, and we talked about those potential semis. So I don't know if we need to talk about that anymore. Go to 86.
We've got Cal Dake likely waiting for the winner. Chance Marcel versus Carter Strachey.
Yes. Who is the favorite in that match in y'all's opinion?
Chance.
You think Chance?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw Chance get it done the last time, in the daddy of them all.
That was in 2022.
That's true. Since that time, I would say Chance Marsteller has demonstrated more consistent success in freestyle. We just haven't seen Strachey yet. And it's just Strachey didn't look like a massive, he looked pretty big, 184 pounder this year, but I don't think size is going to be like a huge advantage for Strachey. I think Marsteller's plenty big here too.
I think Marsteller's bigger.
Yeah.
I think Marsteller is like one of the biggest guys in this field.
Yeah. So I don't know. Marsteller's gotten it done. He's so savvy in freestyle. He's such a good game planner, and he executes the game plans that he has. So I don't think he has much of a shot of like blowing Strachey out. I think it's gonna be really, really close. Especially if it's close, I favor Marsteller in that match.
The last time they wrestled was in 2022, but they were in the same field in the 23 Open. And where Ringer kind of dominated Strachey, and then Marsteller beat Ringer in that tournament. So
yeah, and that's when I thought Strachey was going to win that tournament.
Do we know if Strachey's really locking in on senior level freestyle? Because when Carter locks in on something, that's when it's really hard to pick against him, right? Because I felt like he's never really locked in on senior level freestyle while he was in college. He did it, yes, but I felt like NCAAs was kind of his goal. He mentioned Olympic champion before as well, but I think he was down training with Bo before his fight a little bit too. He's said publicly he has interest in MMA. If he's kind of doing this half in, half out thing, that's where like I don't think we'll ever see the full potential Carter Strachey in freestyle. But if he's like 2028 86 kilogram Olympic champion, that's when Carter Strachey's a dangerous man, because that's what makes Carter so good, in my opinion. Is just his like will to win, his ability to find a way to win, to game plan, to execute, to stay disciplined throughout an entire match, an entire season.
Yeah, I think if he's entered here, I think he's pretty locked in. I mean, I think you can look at a picture of him in Miami and think, oh, well, he's not. But maybe they were taking that week off anyways, and he just wanted to go train. And I think for Nittany Lion and for Carter, they're not going to enter a tournament. They don't do the half-end thing.
Yeah.
Like, no one there does it. I mean, Nick Lee's not entered. I think you kind of wonder why they're like, was he able to put in the preparation necessary because he is a coach now? I just don't think they don't just YOLO guys in these tournaments if they're not prepared. That's my perspective.
That's fair. I just maybe it could be a situation like I don't think this is gonna happen, but like you think like Levi Haynes at the Olympic trials last year, like that version of Levi Haynes was not optimized. You could say weight, but maybe injury. I don't know.
Well, it's 2 weeks after NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's a little different than 2 months.
Yeah,
for sure. So
I think Carter's gonna lock in on freestyle. I do think that his like grittiness and that edge that he has is like, I think it favors him in folk style more than it does in freestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that it's going to be a learning curve figuring out how to like transition that to freestyle. So,
and that's where Chance really excels. Chance's grittiness, savviness, knowing when to ground himself, when he can ground himself, exactly where his foot is on the edge, not give up that step out. Like, that's kind of Chance's X factor in freestyle, because he's now been full-time freestyle for 5 years, 6 years, whatever.
Yeah, and the cut for Chance or for Carter, down to 74, and that was like a real thing. So how does he feel now up at 86 kilos? How does that power, pressure, we saw it kind of reveal itself this year, and just his ability to pressure guys around. And in freestyle, that pays more dividends than folk style. So I don't know. I think it's going to be probably a different match, but I think it's still really close. But I can't wait for it. Who matches up better against Kyle Dake? Chance Marsteller or Carter Strachey?
Marsteller?
I think Marsteller.
I do too.
Just because he's so tricky. Right.
Dude, the ability to have an upper body attack in your arsenal is it's such a game changer. It just it forces your opponent to take a different tactical approach. Like, the only guy that I can think of, comparable to Marsteller with that arm spin is Zane Richards. And, you saw Zane Richards kind of like come out of nowhere when he made the team in 2023. And so much of it was the ability to threaten with upper body. And then, that gives you the ability to kind of pressure in and force guys back. And maybe you get a step out, and now the match is different. And it's a foreign element to a lot of these guys. You don't see it often. And now all of a sudden you've got to approach that match differently. That opponent can get 4 out of nowhere, and you can't have that as an opponent. So you've got to wrestle it different. And just for that reason alone, I think that makes him a little bit better matchup.
I think you've seen Dake do more of that, like bullying. Like he bullied Parker Keckeisen. What did he get? How many push-outs did he get on him?
7.
6. I don't think you can do that to Chance, especially one because he's a bulldog, but also because he can threaten that.
Is he a bulldog or the bull god?
And then also like how like it's really hard to hit leg attacks on the guy too, just because of.
And what did we see in that Zahid match? Now Zahid and Chance could not be much more different, but Kyle getting to legs was a challenge there. And so how does that, play out in this matchup? I agree. I think Chance is a tougher matchup for Kyle. And I think people are maybe sleeping on how tough that win is going to be. And it's one match. There's no 2 out of 3. He has to win.
And when I think about the path to victory over Chance Marsteller, like if Kyle can't get to his legs, right, I don't think Chance is going to take a whole lot of shots on Kyle Dake because you don't want to be underneath Kyle Dake in that chest
But
wrap.
when he does, I mean, I think Chance is going to have to get a leg attack takedown to win.
Remember when
He's going to have to go in there.
Remember in 2023 when you're like, all right, how's Chance going to figure this out against Burroughs? It's not going to be leg attacks. And then it was. And it was like, what? Like, he's just shooting on him and taking him down. Are you kidding?
Kept shooting, yeah. And he's really, you don't see a lot of counter scores on Chance. And when he gets to the leg, he's really a proficient finisher. So now, can he get in? I could see Kyle just keeping him off his legs entirely. That could happen.
Yeah, the guys I think Kyle Dake struggles with the most is your quick twitch, explosive guys. Your Zahids who touch duck, right? When he lost to the Japanese guy Takatani at the Olympics, he was darting in from the outside, super quick to low singles, right? Sidikov's a little different, but even when he shot and took down Dake, it was touch, swim to outside step, right? That's kind of the game plan to beating Kyle Dake, and I don't know if Chance Marsteller can do that to him. Maybe he can, but I don't know. It's tough. Only a very small percentage of guys in the world have that ability.
Yes. And I wonder this for Dake. Now, he's only going to get 2 matches, but how much better does he look? He probably got to learn a lot from that. It's his first time on the mat since the Olympics, and he's up 26 pounds.
How well has he adjusted after doing it once and adding another month to tack on a couple extra kgs?
Yeah, that's what I'm interested to see. I'm waiting for the thumbs up or the go ahead from you. We have another special guest joining the show. Are we ready to rock there? I didn't hear anything.
While we wait forever.
All right.
And
I was just waiting for the heads up. Greg, I don't know if Ever's not talking to me right now. Maybe he's mad at me. But I'm just trying to know if they can hear you. I see you, Greg Warren, but I don't know if they can.
Can you hear me?
I hear you as well. What's up? We're being joined right now live by Greg Warren, a friend of the show, longtime friend of FloWrestling. Greg, so thankful for you coming on. How are you today?
I'm great, man. I'm great, guys. Happy to listen to some wrestling talk while I was waiting.
Yeah, did you hear where the Raney Brothers are going? Were you able to catch up? I know you
No, it's Missouri, right? What?
Man, I don't know how to break it to them. They're going to Oklahoma State.
What? Oh man, that's
Is that like the team for
let's,
you? For a Missouri fan, is that like the team that like, oh man, the Cowboys?
let's maybe do this another time, guys. I don't know. No, I had some horrible experiences down there in Stillwater. Yeah, terrible experiences. I wrestled Pat Smith in the finals of a tournament one time, and he was beating me 11-2, and he was complaining to the ref most of the match, which is humiliating when a guy's complaining and I haven't touched his legs once the entire match.
What were some of his top complaints?
I don't know. What would you complain about, Christian? You're a 4-time. You're on your way to being a 4-time national champ. I don't see that there's much that you have to complain about. You're humiliating me, who was, I believe, 2 or 3 years his senior at the time. and he had. I don't think he felt the ref was calling it fair. I thought that he felt he should have been beating this clown 16-2. Yeah.
Maybe you're making life a little more difficult than Pat Smith was accustomed to.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I can take a lot of pride in that.
There you go. You should.
Yeah, it's going down to Stillwater is never fun because not only the fans were mean, but they were also knowledgeable, and that's what you don't want in an opposing wrestling fandom. You know?
Yeah. No, that is a tough combo. I see. You're in a hotel. I listened to your new special, Greg. Hilarious. I laughed the whole time. But I gotta say, you struck a nerve with me when you attacked the hotel front desk workers. As someone who spent years working the front desk of the Comfort Inn and Suites in Waynesboro, Virginia, this was especially personal for me, and I felt targeted and attacked.
Well, hold on here. I'm attacking the industry and the management, not you. I'm saying. If any of you have stayed at a hotel recently, this is the experience, especially at the hotel that you were talking about, that type of hotel. There's about 100 guests staying there the night, and they put one 19-year-old in charge of the whole operation.
Literally me.
It's the exact scenario. The kid is 19. If he gets a phone call from his friend during his shift and his friend says, hey, I met these two girls and they have some beers, he will instantly quit. He will leave, and now you have 0 employees.
Yes. That is true. When I guess I was technically the man in charge because I worked the night shift, which is where you had the gripe with the night.
Look at him, guys. He should not have been in charge at that. I'm not so sure he should be in charge of this podcast.
I agree.
And this is now he's an adult, you know?
Yeah, I had a lot of responsibilities, Greg. One time, I had to get out the continental breakfast, set all that up, the biscuits and gravy, and lay all that out. I had to I had to close, which is like you have to print all this stuff, and it has to be done in probably right now they just hit a button online. But this is like there was printing involved, and then there'd be drunk people coming in. But I do have to admit,
you're also the sort of the guy in charge of security.
Yeah,
while I'm unconscious in your establishment. One time I came downstairs and I was like, hey guys, there's something wrong in my room. And the kid's like, yeah, well, I don't really. I go, can I talk to the manager? Sir, the manager does not work at night. Really? Because you guys are sort of in the business of night. Like that is why hotels exist primarily for night stuff.
You don't have to tell this podcast. David Bray is well aware and actually probably very thankful that management doesn't work at night in some hotels, specifically in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened to Dave? Do you remember the story, Greg?
Is that where the guy was dropping big loads or whatever?
No, that was Bracky. That was Bracky. We have a lot of Bracky.
What are you guys doing, man?
Bracky is gonna love that he caught a stray. Well, we had during that time we had no money, so we didn't spend it.
Yeah.
We still slum, but David got caught nude in the nude accidentally. He sleepwalked. So my son is, I think Caleb's sleepwalking, so we may have to talk later.
Listen,
I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I don't know. I've told this story before, but I packed too few pairs of underwear because it was a
you don't have to justify sleeping in the nude.
It was a trip that was part of a family Christmas trip and then also a work trip, and so I just was trying to coordinate too much. Forgot to pack as much underwear. Decided, you know what? I'm just gonna sleep the way I was born. Completely in the nude,
covered in embryonic fluid.
And I woke and covered in it. Yes.
I always thought this was like a family podcast.
I know, but look,
he dirtballs it up.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, I'm having this dream because we're at the Southern Scuffle, and the dream is that I'm warming up for the tournament, and I'm like in my dream I was warming, and then I kind of come to, and I'm like warming up, and then I'm like, what? I look around. I'm in the hallway. I'm not in the room.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a long, arduous process to figure out how to get down to the lobby. Ended up in a stairwell, locked out of all the floors. Had to go outside to the front of the hotel. Flagged down. I flagged
Did you wind
down
up
the
wrestling
hotel.
anybody? As long as you're warmed up, did you wrestle
That
anybody?
was the worst part. I wasted a great warm up and no match.
Man.
But I
don't want to have to get you hot twice. Yeah,
I had to flag down the front desk workers, and they had to unlock the front door, let me in. I didn't have any ID on me, let alone my key card. So they believed me. They believed me that I was up on the 4th floor or whatever, and they let me back into my room. But
the thing is,
anyway.
I listen to the podcast. I don't think I've ever missed one. I listen to podcasts, and I know a few things about you guys in the organization and Christian as a leader and how frugal he is. The hotels that he had you staying at, they were probably like, oh yeah, naked guy walking around. Yeah, we see that every other.
The wrestling
Literally
tournament.
said that.
Yeah.
They actually said that, Greg.
they were like, "Oh yeah, we heard there was a wrestling tournament in town. Figured it had to do something with that."
Yeah. Naked guy. This is the Flow account. We do a lot of business with these guys at $24.99 a night. Let's not hassle them. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. But I have had the experience of going to a hotel and there's no front desk worker and you're trying to check into a place and I remember. And when we had this is during the famous Big 12s of 2017 where Bracky and I got locked out of the one room and then they sold the other room we were in, so we had no room and we had to go somewhere else, and then there was no one there. And we just had to walk around and call the place, and the guy walks out with a cordless phone after we call, and we're like, "Hey, we've been here for 20 minutes," and he walks around on the cordless with a dog in tow. It was very Oklahoma.
Hey, real quick, Christian, Big 12's 2017. Do you remember who won that tournament?
Yeah, Oklahoma State.
They did?
Oh, big time. Oklahoma State was nasty.
Oh no, that's before Missouri rejoined. Sorry.
Yeah,
Missouri probably won the MAC.
I think they put like 8 in the finals. And
yeah, that was Maction. Sorry, man.
Missouri rocked.
I thought I had you. I thought I had you in the corner.
I was going to be steamed because you just said.
I thought I had you guys backed in a corner, and I was going to transition into an indictment of the Raney Brothers and their poor choices.
That backfired big time. So Greg, talk to us about you have a new special out. How can people watch it? When is it out? I guess is a better question.
So it's out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, and it's called The Champ. And it's on YouTube. It's free. It's on. You guys familiar with Nate Bargatze, stand-up comic? Yeah, it's on Nate's YouTube channel. It's called Nateland. He has a whole network now, and he produced my last special, which did pretty well, and so we put it there again. And the last special did really well, but I didn't hit up a lot of the wrestling folks because I talked all about peanut butter in my last special. And I don't know what's so funny, Bray. It's an important topic.
It's a great pre-match fuel. I probably had some in my sleep when I was warming up.
Butter. I have a jar of Jif on my desk at all times.
Oh, I know you do. I mean, I'll say this about you. I've always said this. You have beautiful skin, and that's the Jif.
It's the number one choice of choosy moms.
Thank you.
It is. Thank you. But this special, the Champ has I think there's a good portion of it has there's a lot of wrestling material in there. I talk a lot about my early years in college wrestling, which I struggled for a while.
Yeah, such is the nature.
Yeah. I got into that thing. I don't think I've heard a lot of people talk about just that dynamic when you have to watch tape with your coach.
Oh man,
did you guys have to do that?
Yes.
They didn't waste time on that with me. That was for like good wrestlers.
Well, Bray and JD, you guys did you have like sit and and it's brutal. Like
tearing you apart.
Watched this we watched this match. It was the Northern Iowa duel, and I almost got stalled out of the match. And, look at you, Warren. I'd put it on pause, but I don't need to because you're not moving. And he, and then Wes Roper was my coach, who's just one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet today. Great guy, and really helped me achieve my goals. but he takes a beating in this special. I hit him pretty good, but he had this rule, like if you're on the edge of the mat, you should never get taken down, because if you're concentrating, you can just sort of step out of bounds. And the edge rules weren't exactly the same back then. You could sort of find your way out of bounds and not get taken down. And in that Northern Iowa match, I got taken down right on the edge of the mat, and we watched that sequence several times. Look at you, just hanging out. Hanging out? Why didn't you just get a cup of coffee and smoke a cigarette, Warren? You're obviously on your break. Waylon, show it again. I mean, you're just standing there. I'd say you went down like a sack of potatoes, but a sack of potatoes would have had the sense to get out of bounds. Show it again, Waylon.
Waylon.
You're standing straight up. You might as well have sent him an invitation to take you down. Dear Northern Iowa, you are cordially invited to shoot a double leg takedown. I will not be able to defend myself, as I have no idea what the proper wrestling stance is, even though my coach has explained it to me 75,000 times. Show it again.
Dang it, Waylon. Waylon, you gotta relax.
I'm imagining it's being played on one of those TVs you like roll into a classroom.
Yes, it's a VCR.
He's sitting down, and Waylon just has to stand next to the TV.
They can't find the remote.
Yeah, that was Chris Whalen, our assistant coach. Your legs are so close together, I thought you were tied to another man in a three-legged race. Show it again, Whalen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I think we learned what we need to learn from this. Like,
I get the point.
Yeah, but hey, you know what?
Poorly.
It left it imprint in your mind, in your heart, in your soul.
Now
So
it's paying
I think-
dividends.
I think that was the point.
I bet it's been decades.
Yeah, I think you're
bet
right.
it's been
Yeah.
decades since you've been taken down on the edge of the mat.
It has, man. I mean, I could just be like daydreaming, walking around, and if I'm anywhere near the edge of anything, man, I snap to it. Yeah.
And so one thing is, a comedian is a unique job. And I'm watching this special, and I'm thinking like, someone, what'd you do today? And if it's you, Greg, it's like, I wrote a cheer for for cheerleaders for bass fishing in high school sports.
Yeah.
Like that was literally something you had to say to someone.
Yeah. Well, to back up, there's high school fishing. I don't know if you guys are aware
I do know
of that now.
I know that now. I learned that on your special.
It's in Texas. They have it in Texas.
I'm sure they do.
Let's go.
Yeah. And this is I'm not talking about some kids going fishing. Like, they play each other as we would in a dual meet in fishing. I think it's scored on weight or something.
Because remember there was that huge scandal like a year ago where those professional fishermen were weighting the fish.
Yeah. Tale as old as time.
It was JD. Wasn't it similar to that scandal with Cal Ripken where he?
Yes, exactly.
I cannot believe
Wasn't there a
this.
situation where
Yes.
Cal was had a game canceled or something like that?
Correct.
This is unbelievable.
Their whole careers were fraudulent.
This has been a tough
Yeah,
week
yeah.
for Cal.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I've got it coming from all fronts. The guests, people I call friends, are betraying. This is like an attack on the Piles family itself.
Well, it's the point that I wanted to make about this comedy special, Christian, is these are jokes that I wrote, and they're tested with an audience. There's high moments. There's high and low moments in this special. I mean, I hit it with the crowd. I don't just show up every day.
Yeah.
Like I don't just show up. They actually laugh. Like I'm not just going on stage every day.
I
like
get
a
what
Cal Ripken, like a guy that just does, like a guy, like they either laugh at the jokes or they don't. I don't get rewarded for stepping on stage is what I'm trying to say.
He did so much more than show up. There's a reason he was in the lineup every day, because he's one of the first power hitting shortstops of all time, a Gold Glover. He could do it all.
I know, but it's just never what they talk about, is it? He was the Iron Man. He showed up.
Yeah. Wow. Greg.
No, but there is high school fishing, and I can only imagine that there's coaches. And whenever I think of coaches, I just think of our coaches, and I just don't see how it really. Well, you boys embarrassed yourselves out there on that lake today.
How'd you let that one get
Hayes
away?
got his hook caught in a tree. Jansen pulled a shoe out of the lake. And Martin, you couldn't catch a fish in the seafood department of the grocery store.
Wow. Yeah, that's even worse.
Dude, imagine the film study on that team.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you study film as a bass fisherman?
Hey, yeah. Yeah, we don't cast. You call that a cast? That's a cast.
Yeah.
Show it again, Waylon.
That's tough. That's tough. And then you went to war with well, actually CVS more than Walgreens. It started as Walgreens, but then you really
I hit
dunked on-
Walgreens pretty hard.
But you love Walgreens. So it's coming from a place of love.
I care for Walgreens. It hurts sometimes that that I'm not. When I do have to take a shot at them, I'm doing it out of obligation. I feel like I got to help them get better. But yeah, I took some shots at Walgreens, and I want to be clear. It's Walgreens, not the pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Two different worlds.
I don't think it's the same company, Christian. I don't know. I would imagine. I bet you the regular Walgreens manager, you have the regular Walgreens. I bet you every now and then he tries to go into the pharmacy and tell them to do something. Like, hey guys, I was thinking today. Shut up, Ted. You got no jurisdiction here. Go sell pretzels. We're gonna heal the sick. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. So Walgreens. Yeah, I took some shots at them. I'm not gonna be doing the Walgreens Christmas party this year. I can assure you of that.
I guess not. You gotta get you to come to our Christmas party.
I'm in.
I'll be sick.
Yeah, get Greg to deliver.
I'm a part of this organization. Are you kidding me? Wesley predated all you guys.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
Wes raised us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, man. I do some shows every now and then, and somebody will call Red Alert or something.
No way.
And, yeah, I like in the middle of like Iowa, and somebody be like, Red Alert. I'm like, all right, man, I'll do it, but these other 250 people don't know what that means. But yeah.
Where are you right now?
I'll do it. I'm in a hotel room in Detroit.
Detroit, the D.
A Holiday Inn, Christian. Not a. Yeah, I know. I'm a big deal with the Holiday Inn organization. I don't know if I've told you this, guys.
You're known.
They have a thing called IHG.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
It's a loyalty program, and I'm diamond within this organization.
Oh wow, boy, you can't hide money.
Yeah, it is. It is. I get a certain amount of respect when I walk into these places. It's like Spey with the airport lounges. Yeah. I'm like Spey at the airport here at the Holiday Inn.
They let you check in like 6 hours early.
Yeah.
Well, it's not quite that big of a deal.
But you get to walk in with your chest puffed out a little bit.
I do walk in and they say thank you for being diamond.
Wow.
That's one of the big perks in front of everybody else. A lot of and I 2 nights ago I was in one and there's a very attractive woman behind me and she saw it. I mean she saw the whole thing. And then they say, would you like points or a snack? Right. I get my choice right there.
Wow. That's a tough choice. What do you do?
I mean, I go with points. I don't eat snacks. Like I eat in between meals, but it's a full-size bag of Frito scoops. It stops being a snack after the third scoop. Like I don't. Can we not call it a snack? Do you guys have juice boxes back there?
Yeah.
If you do, I'll have one. But I take the points.
Now, when you get enough points, are you able to redeem those for a snack or some other prize?
Obviously, you just don't understand. It's like talking to somebody. I mean, you don't exchange points for a snack. You don't waste your points on a snack. Okay, I get a free room.
Oh snap!
Bray.
Okay.
Yeah, I get a free room at a Holiday Inn or a Holiday Inn Express or some other upscale properties like that.
What's the Motel 6 rewards program called? Because I should get in that.
Yeah, I don't. I guess if you stay there 10 times, you get a
free
new
tetanus
car.
shot.
Yeah, exactly. If you stay there 10 times, you get whatever you want because nobody's going to make it through 10 nights at the Motel 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a tough place, but you know what? It gives us the grit we have today. Okay, so what's next for you, Greg? And you talk a big game like you like barbecue, but I haven't seen you here in Austin, Texas in what, 2 years now? So
I went. I was there maybe a year and a half ago, and Bader and I went to some barbecue place right near the Flow HQ, and it was outstanding. It's a place where it's like you get a cookie sheet basically with a piece of paper on it, and they just put meat. It was outstanding, man.
Yeah, you got to come back.
I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back in Austin. It's on the docket. I got my agent working Austin hard.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I love Austin, man. I love Austin.
You need to come, and you gotta do a show here in the studio with us.
I would really enjoy that.
We'll send Spade to the lounge, and then you can come and just sit in that chair.
I came and hung at the HQ, I think, with Bray and Spay last time I was in town during the day.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get the feel of the place before I went in there. I'm gonna get. I've performed in front of all kinds of crowds, but I'm gonna be a little nervous going on the podcast that I listen to twice a week for the whole time.
Oh.
I've heard every episode.
Well, yeah. That means a lot. I really appreciate that.
No, you guys are killing it, man. It's really great. It helps. You know what it does? I try to work out still, and it gets me through some cardio stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how I use your podcast is to get me through the elliptical.
And we are we are so funny here. We just get that all the time. So anything,
I enjoy it.
Anything you hear, it's free game for you, Nate. If consider it an offering. We're not going to be like those people complaining about joke stealing. We're happy to share.
I'll make sure to let Nate know.
Yeah, let him know.
Yeah.
He's got to run out of funny stuff eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Nate know in between his selling out NBA arenas and shooting a movie that he could tune into FRL and pick up some bits.
Tell him it's free.
He's like a latecomer wrestling fan. He enjoys college wrestling. He's friends with Michael Chandler. They golf together, which I still don't understand. How is a wrestler good at golf? But apparently Michael Chandler's not bad.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So Nate asked me about college wrestling all the time.
Dude, I'm just imagining Nate in like a giant arena, and then the guy with the mustache who always wears goofy stuff said the funniest thing. He's telling us
His shorts are so short.
Average length.
They're average length.
Very normal.
Oh
I don't think that's average length, man. That's average length on Baywatch.
It's a Hasselhoff thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Wait, are we pulling this in? Who's this?
Oh yeah,
guy?
pull this in.
We got a picture here. I want to know if you do you
Greg,
know
this stance might be why you had to watch so much film.
Yeah, no wonder.
I think you're right, man. Nobody told me that you're not supposed to smile in your wrestling picture.
Wow.
That is, yeah. Look at that, man.
What
Look
a
at
beast.
That.
That's really worn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't very good back then. We weren't terrible. We were, I don't know, we wrestled in the Big Eight back then. We were at the bottom of the Big Eight, but there was a lot of really good teams. So we didn't get a lot of stuff like they get today. That was I was lucky to have that singlet.
This is the face of a man who beat my head coach.
That's right.
In the blood round.
Oh, you had to.
I beat him in the blood round.
Tyler, that's when if you win, you're an All-American and you achieve eternal glory.
What that is.
And if you lose, the season was pointless. That's my understanding. Is that your understanding, Greg?
That's how they broke it down to me. And here's the thing. Sean is like one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet and was so much better of a wrestler than I was. I was a senior. He was a freshman. And I just caught him on the backside. And then he's had to live with that his whole career. unfortunately, some people know who I am, and they're like, "Hey, did you?" He's like, "Yeah, I did.
That joke teller.
He told me he uses it as motivation to his team. He says, like, listen, man, you can't take anybody lightly. I lost to this comedian from Missouri on the backside at Nationals,
And now he's still
I've
telling
had
people
to hear
about it.
for my whole life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's freaking amazing.
Greg,
unseeded that year, guys. Unseeded. They didn't
Unseeded.
seed 32. Unseeded.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You're like Mark Branch.
Yeah.
except he won it.
Details.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to get technical about it, JD.
Well, is that necessary, JD? He's our
I mean,
guest.
yeah, I mean, I guess you're saying there's a big difference between 7th and 1st place. That's how you guys
That's
score
a
it. I
math
don't know.
major at Kearney.
Hey, left side of the podium.
Wow. Yeah. I was off the floor, okay?
That's right.
That's right.
On the podium
I
and
did.
off the floor.
Off the floor, on the podium, it counts. No, man. And then in the Conci semis, I got beat by this guy from Penn State, Jason Suter. And I'm telling you, I had made All-American. At that point, I was wrestling so free, and I literally was wrestling the best match of my life. I was just taking him down with double legs at will, and I got zinged in a Granby. For 5, like right towards the end of the match. And I was like, okay. And I lost, which, I should have, it bums me out, but, I probably wasn't.
Is that what inspired you? Because Granby camps, our thing to invent stall camp to surpass Granby camps.
That's true.
Stall camp, and we're still taking applications for this summer, guys. We're filling up fast, though. There's a lot of defensive wrestling out there.
Do you prioritize the applications that come in like right before the deadline on that, or what?
Yeah, right before the deadline. Yeah. If you're getting in your application in early to stall camp, we don't want you. Okay, you just don't have what it takes. Yeah.
How are you coping with the fact that you will unfortunately never get to watch Keegan O'Toole in a Missouri singlet again?
It bums me out. He just got announced as a coach this week. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Are you guys covering Missouri wrestling, or are you just talking about these hillbilly Kentucky brothers that are going to some other hillbilly school? I don't know. I don't tune in for that garbage.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. Keegan's going to be an assistant coach at Missouri. We're happy to have him. He was awesome, wasn't he? I mean, that was a really fun guy to watch wrestle. I think they made me honorary coach, and I got to sit in the corner with Coach Smith against Virginia Tech a couple years ago, and I was mouthing off. I was saying, like, before the match that somebody thinks I think Smith thinks I'm just there to be some honorary figure. I'm going to coach. If I'm on the corner, I'm gonna coach. And if I don't what I see out of O'Toole, who at the time was a defending national champ, I'm gonna cut him. Like you got to send a message. You got to send a message to the rest of the team. But I watched him. I can't remember who it was against, but I watched him. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody take somebody down like that. Like, it's next level weirdo Ben Askren type stuff that he was doing. He's great.
He's magic. Hope he heals up, and want to see him on the freestyle mats, and I'm sure he's going to help out the Tiger style a lot. They got some good recruits coming in. Seth Mendoza going
really
there.
Good. Yeah.
I like
great recruits. Yeah, Sinclair it looked really good a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, he'll be wrestling tomorrow.
That's right.
At the World Team Trials, yeah. So that's going to be incredible. You going to watch the trials?
Yeah, I will. I mean, I love you guys, man. It's so cool that we get to watch wrestling all the time. Yeah, and now my dad was a coach and watches it all the time. Everything that you guys put out, he watches, and he doesn't really understand that I'm on stage certain nights, and I get calls like 2 calls in a row. You know how your dad calls you like twice in a row. Like, I didn't pick up, and then I'll get another call. I'm like, okay, something must be radically wrong. And he's like, I think this guy was stalling. Did you think he was stalling in that match? I'm like, Dad, yeah. I'm glad there is flow, but it can be a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, he just wants to talk about it with someone. Well, Greg,
yeah.
We appreciate you coming on so much. A reminder, you can watch his new special, The Champ, Nate Land Entertainment, YouTube, tomorrow at...
In the description right now.
It's in the description right now, so you're going to be able to find it.
Amazing, thanks.
And we'll...
Yeah,
go ahead.
I really appreciate you guys having me on. I love the show. Like I said, I don't miss an episode, and I rarely ask the wrestlers, but if you guys like comedy at all, check this thing out. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy it. And it's you can watch it with your kids or your grandma or whatever. It's family friendly, which I promise doesn't mean it's lame, but
No, definitely.
yeah,
not.
I think you guys will enjoy this one. I hope you check it out.
I know that they will. Please tune in for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you again to Greg Warren. Welcome anytime. And we're going to go because we have flights. Well, you and I have flights. Mm-hmm. You don't even have your things with you.
Nope.
You got to go get your things and then get on the plane.
2 hours, yeah.
I have my things at least. I'm a little ahead of Tyler. So, yeah, we're going to go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to be back next Monday. Right, JD?
Yes.
JD always confirms the schedule on the show for me. I always appreciate that. Thanks so much. World Team Trials going down tomorrow, 10 a.m. It gets started Eastern time. Finals on Saturday. Thank you guys so much. Thanks to Ever for producing and the Raney Bros for hopping on and sharing that announcement with us. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.